What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. Recently, I put out a video, a Kobe Bryant video. It's an interview from All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Stacks. And in that interview, Matt Barnes basically asked Kobe about, more or less his chemistry, a question about his chemistry with Shaquille O'Neal. And Kobe's response was accurate about his chemistry with Shaquille O'Neal. But then he went on to give his tidbit about the San Antonio Spurs, essentially their experience with Pop, Duncan, and the Spurs and the playoffs. And that is where I disagree with Kobe. And he's wrong. He's absolutely wrong. And whether he's meaning to or not, maybe his memory's just bad, but in his statement, he's revising history, revisionist history. Let's take a look at it, and I'll talk about it briefly.
You and Shaq were able to win 3 together. Obviously, there's been back and forth of, what he was like, what you were like, whatever. But if you guys were on the same page, connected mentally, how many do you realistically feel like you could have won?
Yeah, San Antonio was tough. They were tough. And so, when the playoffs came around, it wasn't like Shaq and I weren't on the same page. When the playoffs came around, we always were on the same page.
That's
we
true.
just got beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, we've the bigger question should be how many would we have won if the Spurs weren't the Spurs? Because you probably would have ran the table for a decade.
That year, he was killing. He was by himself that year.
He was lights out. He was lights out, right? And so the talent, the coaching, everything in San Antonio was kind of a perfect storm. And so if they weren't in the picture, we probably would have run 10 in a row.
No.
And they'd probably say the same thing about us.
That's crazy.
Kobe, cut it out. Cut it out. That's cap, brother. That's revisionist history. Now, Kobe's not the type of guy that makes stuff up. He's like a straight shooter, 100%. He don't give a damn about what you think or, what you got to say about him. He doesn't. And that's not his MO. So I just don't think he really realizes. I think he thinks they played the Spurs more times than they actually did during the Kobe Shaq tenure. So he said they probably would have ran off 10 straight. And even if he was being facetious to a degree, he's saying that they would have won significantly more championships if the Spurs weren't the Spurs. Whether it's 10, whether it's 8, whether it's 9, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I briefly talked about this in that reaction video to the interview. But the Los Angeles Lakers only lost to the San Antonio Spurs twice during the Kobe Shaq era. They only lost to the Spurs twice. So at best, if the Lakers still lose in the finals to the Detroit Pistons in the 2004 playoffs, at best, they would have ripped off 5 championships together if the Spurs weren't the Spurs. And even then, there's other things that you got to take into consideration, right? So in the 98-99 season, which would be the 1999 playoffs, the Spurs beat the Lakers. That was the lockout season, if I'm not mistaken. But even if they had beat the Spurs, were the Lakers good enough to beat the Portland Trail Blazers? If the Spurs weren't the Spurs or some lesser version of themselves that the Lakers were able to beat, were they good enough to beat the Portland Trail Blazers, who they would have seen in the Western Conference Finals? The year after that, Kobe got a little better, Shaq got a little better, and they went 7 with the Trailblazers. So would they have been good enough? If they did beat the Portland Trailblazers, they would have faced the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. Would they have beat the Knicks? Now, I think the Knicks, I think they would have beat the Knicks. But would they have been able to beat Portland? Right? After that series loss to the San Antonio Spurs, I was mixing Lakers and Spurs. To the San Antonio Spurs, the Lakers go on a 3-peat after that series. Now, on the verge or on the mission of trying to get 4 championships in a row in the 2002, 2003 NBA season, which would be the 2003 NBA playoffs, they lost to the San Antonio Spurs again. Now, if the Spurs were some lesser version of themselves and the Lakers beat the Spurs that season, would they have been able to beat the Dallas Mavericks, who they would see in the Western Conference Finals? The Dallas Mavericks were a beast of a team that year. I don't remember what the regular season series was against the Mavericks, but I do think that's the season where the Lakers made that improbable comeback. They were down like 28, 30 points going into the fourth quarter or something like that, and they made this amazing comeback, and Kobe hit, go-ahead game-winning shot against the Mavericks, and it was a sensational game. But still, in a 7-game series, would they have beat the Dallas Mavericks? Probably, but it could have went the other way. And if they beat the Mavericks, they would have seen the New Jersey Nets for the second time in a row in the NBA Finals, and they probably would have beat the New Jersey Nets. The Lakers are just too overwhelming for the entire Eastern Conference during that time. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. So at best, they would have won 5 together, assuming they still lose to the Pistons in 2004. At best, 5. I don't know where you're getting 10 from in this number, but buddy, y'all did not lose to the Spurs as many times as you think you did during your tenure. It did not happen today. Did not happen that way, Kobe. Sorry, Kobe. You are wrong. God rest your soul, brother. God rest your soul. But as a person that doesn't revise history on your side, and you don't make up lies and spew out a bunch of garbage, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt of not really thinking about it. You don't realize how many times you guys lost to the Spurs, but you only lost to them twice during your tenure. But either way, you're wrong. No way. No way. No way. Not happening. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Let me know what you think about it. I'd love to hear your opinion. But I keep it 100 with all the players, man. Like I said, I don't care if you're my favorite player or a player I really hold in high regard or whatever. If I catch you lacking, if I catch you saying something wrong, I feel like I got to speak up about it. I'm going to let you and everybody else know that is cap. That's cap. All right? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.